Welcome back to Omoshiroi Recap. Today, I will recap Banished from the Hero's Party, telling the story of a world invaded by the Demon King for 3 years. The Demon King managed to control half the human continent. The gods gave a divine blessing to a girl to protect humanity. The girl became a hero named Ruti Ragnason. The main character of this anime is named Red, an herbalist who lives in the border city of Zoltan. This city is far from other big cities and has no strategic value, so life here is simple and quite detached from the outside world. This place is perfect for Red because he wants to open a pharmacy and live a simple life. Everyone has a unique divine blessing, a superpower from God. A little boy asks Red what the divine blessing is, but Red has a secret past and does not reveal his powers. Then, Red's past is shown. Red's real name is Gideon Ragnason, and he is the older brother of Ruti, the hero. He is also the second in command of the Knights of Bahamut, and he is blessed with the Mark of Guide to protect and guide the heroes on their journey. Ares, one of his teammates, asked him to destroy his magic shield with a bronze sword. Red cannot do so Ares says that Red is useless to the heroes and should not even be in the party. His divine blessings cannot support the party in their battles, and the heroes must constantly save him. So, Ares asked Red to leave the party. Since Red felt he was just a burden to them, he left the party with all his equipment and pretended to go to check on the Demon King's army. That was the reason why Red came to Zoltan. One day, a dangerous owlbear appeared near their village. Albert, a B-ranked adventurer, asks Red for help tracking the monster, but Red refuses because he doesn't want to stand out and accidentally reveals his power. Then, a little boy from a carpenter family named Tanta caught a unique fever that might cause death. To cure Tanta, Red needs to collect some of the ingredients. Red increases his physical strength and rushes into the forest. He finds some herbs, but Albert has lit a fire to trap an owlbear. Suddenly, the owlbear attacked him, but Red was powerful and defeated him with one strike. Red brought the medicine, and the doctor made medicine for Tanta. In the end, Tanta's life was saved. Gons was very grateful and offered him any gift he wanted. Since he was a carpenter, Red asked him to build a house for him that would be used as a medicine shop. 4 months later, another adventurer named Rit came to Zoltan. The officer of the Adventurers Guild told her all about Red, which made Rit feel interested in meeting him. Meanwhile, Red's medicine shop was finally completed, and everyone in Zoltan came to congratulate him. Rit visited him in his shop and called him by his real name, Gideon. Rit's real name is Rizlet, the second princess of the Loggervia kingdom with great military power. The people in her kingdom started to favor her over her older brother, the crown prince, so she decided to leave before it caused a civil war. Now, she pretends to be a B-ranked adventurer. After Rit heard why Red left the hero party, she became angry at Ares. But Red said the hero and the party were better off without him. In the past, they fought together against the Demon King Shisenden's commanding army. However, Rit was trapped by Shisenden because Shisenden can take human form by eating him. Fortunately, Red saved her and they fought together against Shisenden. Although they could not defeat him, the hero came to their aid. She easily cut Shisenden's hand like cutting cheese. After the incident, Rit became sad and lost the courage to fight again, as many friends she knew died. Red reminded her that she must stand as hope for her people, so Rit maintained her desire to fight and be a hero for her people in the present. After going through a lot with Red, she begins to have feelings for him. Therefore, she asked if she could stay with Red and work with him. Despite his doubts, Red agreed, and they would stay together. On the other hand, the group of heroes had a new member named Tisse Garland as a replacement for Red. Tisse has the divine blessing of an assassin, while the other members are Danon with the divine blessing of martial arts. Theodora has the divine blessing of a crusader. Ruti asked them to prepare to leave tomorrow and look for the weapons the previous Demon King had left behind. The next day, he woke up and saw Rit's beautiful milk melons, the best morning view ever. Then they went around town buying bedding and other necessities. They stopped by a bedding store. The owner, Stocky, was surprised to learn that she lived with Red. Stocky also suggested a double bed for them, but Red wanted to buy a single bed. While walking in the city, Red thought about how everyone has their own divine blessings, and the only way to increase the level of these blessings is to kill other people who have divine blessings. Not only that, divine blessings affect one's personality. Rit's divine blessing was the spirit scouts were forest scouts, which is why Rit preferred the freedom of the outside world to stay in the palace. Then they saw a big kid named Ademi with a divine blessing, the fighter, beating up Tanta and his friend Eru.
その実力なら大人と一緒にモンスターを相手にした方がいいぞ。
After scaring Ademi, Red immediately treated Tanta and Aru. Red also advised them to avoid getting involved in any more fights. Then, they made another remedy for colds and fever to make it more interesting. Red used his cooking skills and made it into a cake. Since this medicine did not taste bitter, it became popular. In the end, their first sale was a big success. While the heroes searched for one of the Demon King's special weapons in the desert, they had trouble negotiating with the desert dwellers. Danon became frustrated because problems like this never arose when Red was in the party. Danon argued with Ares because they were divided after Red left the party. Even one of their members, Yarandrala, left the party after learning that the hero party had banished Red. Not only that, Danon and Theodora recognized that Red's abilities were extraordinary and never considered Red a burden. So Danon decided to find Red. While his party mates were fussing over his leaving, Red enjoyed his new life by looking at the beautiful scenery in the morning. Suddenly, Rit started craving honey wine or mead, so she bought some. At the same time, Albert comes into the store, and he asks if Red killed the owl bear. Albert threatened Red because he was sure Red had defeated the monster, but Red did not admit it. So Albert took out his sword and pointed it at Red's neck. Rit knocked him down and tried to kill Albert, but Red managed to stop her while Albert was mentally hit and ran away. After that, Red prepared dinner with good food and good meat to celebrate their new life like a newly married couple. The next day, they help a sauna business. Red offers a medicinal plant that can relieve fatigue. The medicinal plant is perfect for use in saunas. The owner of the place liked it so much that there were many visitors. Red tried to enjoy the sauna alone, but suddenly Rit came with Tanta's mother now. They also wanted to enjoy the sauna with Red. Because two beautiful women surrounded him, Red finally fainted due to overheating, while the group of heroes is still struggling to find the Demon King's weapon. Theodora asks if Tisse regrets joining this group as they have faced failure after failure. Even the group members feel uncomfortable with each other. Theodora said that this problem never arose when Red was there. They were visited by Gideon, an adventurer guild leader, who wanted to meet Rit, but Rit deliberately made them wait because the shop had not yet reached opening hours. When Rit met them, a thieves guild leader offered Red an elven coin worth 10,000 gold coins to exchange with Rit. With that much money, Red could live well and get 50 women in one night. But Red said that it was still cheap and refused the offer because Rit was much more valuable than that. Gideon and other adventurer guild members also offered much money and titles if Rit stopped working with Red and returned to being an adventurer. But Rit refused them and wanted to stay with Red. After that, Red gave her an amber bracelet as a deposit for a lifetime contract. Rit became very happy and thought this was a dream come true because she lived with Red like this. She never thought that this was possible. Rit thought back to the past when the Demon King's army was still attacking her country. They had to go and get help from the neighboring kingdoms. On the way, they passed a village where an elf named Yarandrala became very close to Red, which made Rit jealous. Yarandrala has a divine blessing that allows her to talk to trees in the forest. They need Yarandrala to get through the dangerous forest to the other country. Rit became jealous of how close Red was with Yarandrala, realizing that Yarandrala took her for a quick bath and talked about her feelings for Red. Yarandrala says she is an elf and will live much longer than humans, so she avoids falling in love with humans. Yarandrala says she respects Red but does not see him as a lover. However, she supports Rit to live together with Red and help each other. They finally reached the neighboring country but were confronted by the Demon Lord's army. Red took the risky step of becoming a distraction while Ruti slaughtered the enemies individually. Luckily, Red and Yarandrala survived the task, and Ruti hugged him happily. Rit realized that Red and Ruti had a strong bond, and Rit didn't want to come between them. That's why she didn't join the heroes' party, but she unexpectedly met Red and Zoltan. The Thieves Guild members told Rit to return to being an adventurer, or else he would tell her family that Rit was living here in Zoltan. However, she did not care what her family said and would throw away all her honor as a princess as long as she could live with Red. On the other hand, Ruti began to feel lonely because of her brother's absence. When Ares told her that Red had run away, Ruti did not believe him and suspected he was up to something. So Ruti killed Ares in one attack, but Ruti remembered her duty as a hero and healed Ares again. While Red was visiting Dr. Newman's clinic, they suddenly heard something. They rushed to check it out and found a man poisoned by a drug overdose. Red used his skills and administered a potion to save the man. Dr. Newman confirmed that the man had used an illegal drug that had recently spread to various places. There would likely be more cases like this, so Red had to prepare as many potions as possible. Rit wondered who was behind it all, but Red didn't want to get involved and wanted a barbecue picnic with Rit by the river. They played happily together and drank wine by the river. At that moment, they finally confessed their feelings for each other and kissed. A few days later, a man ran into their house bleeding. Red immediately tended to him while Rit went to see what was happening in town. Rit found many adventurers, including members of Albert's party, going crazy and attacking residents. Albert, without hesitation, shot them all in the head. Albert said that he didn't know what happened to them, while Rit was angry with him for killing his friend without hesitation. Rit returned home and explained what had happened, leading them to believe drugs caused it. During the night, Dr. Newman brings Eru, who has been badly injured, to Red's place. Eru wakes up and says that Adami came to his house with an axe and attacked his parents. Hearing this, Red and the doctor rushed to his house and were lucky that Eru's parents were still alive. Ademi is the son of the night commander of the Zoltan city guard. After the incident, Ademi disappeared, and the residents became very angry with the guards because they thought the city guard had hidden Ademi. They also used Eru's parents as puppets against the city guards. Meanwhile, Eru asked Rit to teach him how to fight with a sword so that he could increase his weapon master's blessing. After that, they met the city guard's captain or Ademi's father. He explained that his son's blessing was a fighter, which meant he would never use an axe. Tanta also backed him up by saying that some time ago, Ademi came to him and apologized for hitting him. The city guard captain asked Rit to investigate this incident. On the other hand, Eru is alone in the drugstore, and suddenly, a stranger gives Eru a powerful weapon. While Rit is chasing a drug dealer, she gets caught in a trap and is surrounded by several men. When things got bad, Danon came to her rescue. Danon's goal should be to bring Red back to the hero party, but seeing Red looking happy, he changes his mind. Then Danon decided to work together to find the mastermind of the incident because the devil was involved in it. Rit returned home afterwards and relaxed on Red's lap. Red shows her the sword Eru got. Rit uses her detection magic and finds out that there is a spell on the sword that allows the magic caster to see the location of the sword. On the other hand, the group of heroes is fighting a powerful demon. During the battle, Ares becomes a burden, and Ruti is forced to protect him. Previously, Red always guarded him so that Ares could activate his magic, but now he must be able to protect himself. Fortunately, they can defeat the monster. Then, Tisse told them she found an airship belonging to the previous Demon King. They used the airship to continue their journey. Red and Rit got a double bed, and they wanted to test the quality of the mattress by making love. Unfortunately, they were disturbed by the presence of Eru, who lived in their house, so they would do it another time. Rit continued her investigation the next day and used the red sword to lure the criminals. Rit defeated them all with ease and then confronted the axe demon. On the other hand, members of the Thieves Guild kidnapped Eru. They took him to their leader, Big Hawk. He said that he was the one who flooded the market with drugs. He explained that the illegal drug contained a demonic grace created from the heart of the axe demon, so that users of the drug will get more dangerous demon grace. Ademi was also forced by them to take the drug, so he went crazy and attacked Aru's family. To become the ruler in the city of Zoltan, Big Hawk wanted to spark a revolution by having Eru execute Ademi, the son of the commander of the Guard Knight. Knowing that Ademi had hurt his family, Eru's lust for killing instantly increased. Fortunately, Eru managed to control himself and only untied the rope. One of them pulled out an axe, which caused Ademi to go crazy and take it.
Slow fall.
Red arrived at the scene. As he hid there, he paralyzed Ademi and escaped with Aru. Then Big Hawk and Albert surrounded Red, and it was revealed that Big Hawk had actually been taken over by a contract demon named Belial, who was the mastermind of it all. Albert is obsessed with joining the hero party and wants to become stronger by killing Red using the demon sword. Unfortunately, Red is stronger than him. He easily cuts off his hand. Then, the city guard came and arrested them all. After that, Aru and Ademi go to the protesters and tell them everything about Big Hawk and drugs. Aru says that he forgives Ademi, which means the protesters have no reason to fight anymore. They all go home peacefully. Red and Rit spend a nice time in the bathtub. Red asks him if he wants to go with Ruti and be a hero again. But Red replies that being here with her is all he wants. On the other hand, Big Hawk turns into a demon and escapes from prison with Albert. They head together to Ruti's hero's place. Belial turned out to be on the side of the humans who worshipped the gods and wanted to defeat the demons who challenged the gods. Then Belial explained about the demon's blessing medicine. If she drank it, she would get 2 divine blessings, namely the divine blessing of the gods and the devil's blessing. Not only that, the strength levels of the divine blessings can be exchanged with each other, weakening the divine blessing of the gods and strengthening the devil's blessings, so that it will make it easier for humans to raise the divine blessing level to reach the maximum level. Ruti immediately drank all the medicine to weaken her hero's blessing so she could become ordinary and live peacefully with her older brother. A short while later, Ruti and Tisse headed to Zoltan to look for medicine supplies. They parked the airship in a remote area near Zoltan and changed clothes to disguise themselves as ordinary adventurers. A foolish and overconfident knight blocked the bridge to demand payment, so Ruti threw him unceremoniously into the river. That night, Tisse met Red at a roadside food stall. They started chatting, and they secretly watched each other's physiques. Tisse was convinced that Red was strong because he could see through her hidden weapons. After that, Tisse reported to Ruti that someone powerful was in the city, and they decided not to get involved with him. Then, they made a plan to find the drug. They freed an alchemist who was a prisoner of the city. He was Godwin. They immediately released Godwin from custody and forced him to make the previous drug. They wanted to heal Godwin's wounds the next day, so they headed to the nearest drugstore. Ruti did not expect that she could meet her brother there. Ruti finally met Red and hugged him. Red explains to her why he left the party. Ruti doesn't blame him because Ares is the real guilty person here. Ruti asked him to join the group again, but Red said he had already found a purpose to stay here. So Ruti also decided to move to Zoltan to live with him, which surprised them. However, when she wanted to return to the inn, Ruti received pain from her hero's blessing because Ruti intended to leave her duty as a hero. The next day, Ruti tries to help at the drugstore, but her cold, emotionless nature scares the customers away. So Red takes her around town to get her familiar with the people. Despite her strange nature, she manages to attract people's attention. Red reassures her by saying that she is his proud younger sister. After that, the 3 girls took a bath together. Ruti tells her past when she was only 5 years old, but she was responsible for saving a child from a giant monster. She wanted to save herself, but her hero's blessing must prioritize the lives of others over her own. However, everyone calls her an asshole behind her back, so she just wants to die. But Red arrives just in time and kills the monster. However, after becoming a hero, Ruti became stronger than Red, but Ruti lost her emotions. Ruti was jealous of Rit because she could laugh and enjoy life with Red. Tisse realized that Ruti needed someone to save her. Tisse, therefore, decided to do something to save the much-respected hero. The next day, Tisse told them everything about Belial, the contract demon. Ruti wanted to stop being a hero and had taken the demon blessing drug to weaken her hero blessing. Although Ruti was still fine, there was a possibility that the murderous lust of a demon would take over her body. Therefore, they must find a way to cure her. On the other hand, Ares, Theodora, and Albert arrived at Zoltan. Ares intended to find an inn first. Meanwhile, the others saw Red meeting with Danon. Danon tells Red he is a strong man, and they need his help to defeat the Demon King. Unfortunately, Red refused because he wanted to live with Rit peacefully in Zoltan. Red also told him about Ruti's desire to quit her heroic duty because it made her miserable. Danon said that he would support the hero's decision. They rushed to Ruti's place, and then Danon told him that Shisenden had eaten his right hand while heading to Zoltan. On the other hand, Ares meets the fake Danon, who is Shisenden. He said that Red lived peacefully with a beautiful girl with big boobs. Hearing this made Ares upset and angry. He came to the drugstore and destroyed the house's furniture, including the mattress. After that, they intend to go to the elf ruins because Ruti is there, while Red and the others also go there. There, Red met Godwin and asked him to call Ruti. When they met, Red said he already knew everything and would support her wishes if Ruti wanted to stop being a hero. This made Ruti very happy. When the others arrived, Ruti said that she suddenly developed another blessing that had no name but helped her suppress the effects of the hero's blessing. Suddenly, many monsters attacked them, but Ruti easily destroyed them. It turned out that it was the work of the madman Ares. He forced Ruti to come with him and defeat the Demon King. Ares even attacked Red, so in return, Ruti stabbed him. Ruti healed Red and took him away. Meanwhile, Shissenden uses the form of an adventurer and tells Ares that a weapon is left over from the first hero in that place. If Ares manages to get the weapon, Ruti will be by his side. In the end, Ares was only used by Shissenden. Later, Danon, Theodora, and Albert were also at the elf ruins. Danon smashed the door with a punch to get to Shissenden's place. Ares and Shissenden reached the secret room, but Danon arrived in time and confronted them. Danon says he has been training his left hand to near perfection since Shissenden ate his right hand. Then, he used his skills to defeat Shissenden. But Ares betrayed Danon, and Shissenden used the opportunity to stab him and cause an explosion inside him. In the end, Danon had difficulty fighting him and was severely injured. Afterward, Ares and Shissenden entered the secret room and found the first hero's sacred weapon. Shissenden said that the holy sword carried by Ruti was a copy. If Ruti held the weapon, the hero's blessing would be stronger and take over all of Ruti's emotions. But to make Ruti a true hero, Shissenden advised Ares to kill Red. On the other hand, Danon is still alive. Albert and Theodora arrive, and they give him a healing potion. Meanwhile, Red and the others met Shissenden and Ares. So, the battle between them, but Ruti only launched one attack and managed to destroy their swords. Suddenly, Theodora arrived and immediately attacked Rit and Ruti because she disagreed with them and wanted Ruti to return to being a hero to save the world. Unfortunately, she was easily defeated by Ruti. A dragon tries to kill Rit, and quickly, Red protects her. But Ares used the opportunity to kill them both with box metal magic. Ares laughed like crazy at the same time Ruti's sword broke and fell down with Shissenden. While Danon was right below, using his power to save them both, thus sending them back up. At that moment, Red, without hesitation, slashed Ares to death. Shissenden fought fiercely against Ruti. She managed to parry all of Shissenden's attacks using a broken sword. Ruti's demon blessings began to rise, and she could defeat Shissenden with strong anger. However, Ruti had touched the sacred weapon, and her hero's blessing took over her body. When Ruti returned, she immediately wanted to kill Red. Knowing that Ruti had been controlled by her hero's blessing, Red fought her alone and tried to bring her back to consciousness. Although his sword could not withstand Ruti's attack, Red managed to trap her with his bronze sword and knock her down until the sword slipped out of Ruti's grasp. In the end, Ruti regained consciousness and hugged him while crying. Then Ruti tried to heal Tisse with her hero's blessing, but the blessing could not be used. Her hero's blessing had certainly weakened her to become an ordinary girl. Fortunately, Theodora was willing to heal Tisse with her powers. Because she had betrayed them, Theodora would accept any punishment from Ruti. But Albert begged her to forgive Theodora because she was also a true hero with strong convictions for humanity. Ruti said that she may have the hero's blessing, but Theodora is the person who deserves to be a hero because she constantly fights for the sake of the world without selfish thoughts. In the end, Theodora accepted that Ruti would never walk the path of a hero again. They went back to living a peaceful life. Ruti now gained a new blessing, the ruler, allowing her to control other blessings. She uses it to suppress the hero's blessings. Ruti decides to start a farm to grow medicinal plants, and Tisse will also help her. During the night, they finally get to test the quality of their new bed by making love all night. They make future plans to live together and grow old together. The next day, Red and Ruti went around town and bought her a cute little decoration. Then, they relax and enjoy their peaceful lives. On the other hand, Godwin met Yarandrala and told her about Red and Ruti's peaceful life in Zoltan. So Yarandrala decided to join them. However this story ends, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.